Hi, today I'm going to make a cyanotype having to do with the beach. I'm a little bit obsessed with the beach, which is interesting because I sunburn really easily and I don't necessarily like being there for large quantities of time anymore, but it's more the idea of the beach that I really love. And I've made a lot of cyanotypes on the beach in the past. Now you'll notice I'm not at the beach today, nor am I going to the beach. But fortunately for me, my daughter was at the beach up in the Northeast recently and brought some back for me at my request. So I'm going to use that to make a cyanotype. But quickly, I will show you some of my previous beach cyanotypes. As you can see, these are all ones that I made like actually at the beach. Like I said, there's a stack of them here. And one of these days I'm going to hang them up in my dark room, but that hasn't happened yet. So yeah, I'm not going to do it quite as organically because I'm not going to be doing this in the sand and washing it in salt water. But what I have, some shells and some sand from Nantucket. She also brought me some pins, and this is the famous Brent Lighthouse up in Nantucket. So you can laugh, please feel free to laugh at this. This is my rudimentary drawing that I made of the Brent Lighthouse. What I'm going to do is trace it onto this. This is Duralar acetate. I'm going to trace it with this Sharpie, and then I'm going to use that sort of like a digital negative, and I'm going to layer some of my cyanotype with the sand and shells. Yeah, so here we go. I'm going to work on this now. Because I find the noise that the Sharpie makes on the acetate satisfying, I'm going to do this in real time, and then we'll go into time lapse. Oh, and now it's not doing it. Well, here we go anyway. I need to have the strongest lines that I can, because a Sharpie is not so opaque that the sun won't go through it quite easily. So I'm going to go back over all of these lines multiple times to make them as dark as possible. If you use a big Sharpie, it makes a squeaky sound that I find very entertaining, and that's what I was hoping was going to happen. I don't know where my big Sharpie is. Sorry, guys. All right, so that's the first outline. There we go. Okay, here we are out in the sun. I'm not going to give this very long. I don't think I'm going to give it more than 4 or 5 minutes, which is not as long as I'd like, but I just don't think that those lines are going to last much longer than that. So let's see what we get. When I looked at how that cyanotype turned out, I decided to remake it in a slightly different way. So I'm doing a second one. I also, oops, there's my shadow, oh my gosh. I also found another marker and went over the lines again a little darker. So yeah, I'm only gonna give this maybe 4 minutes. So both of these turned out, obviously they worked out, but they didn't work out exactly how I was hoping. This is the challenge of using a sort of digital negative, in that if you want to layer it with other things and you don't have that opaque of a marker when you're drawing, you're going to run into some overexposure issues. But as I've said with previous little projects, this is not a complete loss. There will be a part 2 about these cyanotypes, where I turn them into mixed media projects and add other things. So stay tuned for that. In fact, why don't you hit the subscribe button? That would be super. See y'all next time.